So we decided to do some game review series, but more of a looking at from the perspective of gamers and game developers in the same time. So it would be a bit more talking about what do we think, how the game features are developed, and also maybe giving our opinion on how they do it, how they can improve it, etc. So it's not a classical should you buy the game, though I think if you're nerdy enough, our explanation would give you even better insight on the games than the regular user reviews. So this one is we start playing this to chill a little bit because we have we're a full-time FTEs, and then which means full-time employees, and then we on our free time we work on our games. Currently, Escape from X and the Shooting Range, and then a few more coming up, which are stepping around those, expanding our SDKs, that our so to say platform to build games. So yeah, and we with Peter, he said let's play something that's chill. But yeah, we decided to do this to try this Pax Day thing. So Pax Day is what it is. I would say it's a remake of Life is Feudal. So let me first give you a little bit overview what this game is all about. So the game pretty much um, is a sandbox medieval. It's not even survival because there is no survival elements. Medieval sandbox, and same as Life is Feudal, which was I don't know. Life is Feudal. I think it's like you can trace it back 20 years back in the past where they start trying to promote this game, and then I think they try to make money out of it like few different times, changing the name, closing the game, releasing it again. I've lost the track of it, but it's a modern version of that. So for those that have played, this would be similar. Though I think the mechanic here is a little bit simplistic. Maybe that's just the current state and it will evolve. The Life is Feudal was a little bit more complicated. The good thing is your inventory compared to Life is Feudal is like strict UI with boxes as we are used to. Where Life is Feudal was like chaotic, like you drag something in one big canvas and then you can overlap stuff and drag and move around, and it was very messy. But it was a nice idea, like that's how you organize your back at the end of the day, taking stuff out, putting stuff in, layering them. Anyway, so what I like is lightning and texture balance. So the details for this game is very nice. I like it. It's very beautiful. So if you wanna chill, so what we do is I hate those trees, and there is no way for you to permanently remove them, even when you build on top of them, which is very annoying. So every time I wanna spend some quality time having a cigar and watching the sunset in this game, I would say I need to cut them off, and then I need to do that regularly. And sometimes you see it's stuck inside and I cannot cut it out for some reason. I think there was an angle where I can do it. So this is the problem with it, is that you see. So that's I'm trying to figure where the collide trigger box is, whatever they use. So I will use Unity terms for those of you that are used to Unreal Engine, I guess things are not very different because on the graphic game engine level you need to do the same thing, solving the same problem in the same manner, just tweaking and related underlying technology that are different. But yeah, I hope that I won't get you too much confused with the Unity terms. In case you're used to um, the Unreal one. So I think if I physically take my axe out and try to cut it, I think it will collide and it will execute cutting. Yeah, I think that's how I get rid of them last time. Yep, and this one. So all of this is just to show you the beauty of the game. And also sound. Usually, so you see, okay, no, I hate this one. So usually in a game like this, I remove the, I remove the background sound, the music, I mean, and I just leave the effects, sound effects, and yeah. But in this case, I keep even the music because they did very well, similar to World of Warcraft. I really like such an epic, I don't know how to say, epic orchestra kind of music in games. It's kind of make it magical. I have this from back in the days when I played the first Gothic. It had this amazing music and atmosphere. So see, very beautiful. I really like watching it just like that, and listen to the birds, and here and there's a deers. They do this moo moo. It's very very organic. So I would say when it comes to the sandbox look and feel, it's just what we needed. A chill environment where we can have some fun doing some stuff. Um, and now that would be my opinion on how they. And I would say base building and colliders and snapping and everything, it just worked perfect. Um, I didn't have any problems. There is a stability system built in, so you need to be a little bit mindful using some kind of, I don't know, be a little bit engineer and using some architectural basic principles in order to build something bigger. The best thing is when I cannot show you now, but maybe there someone is building something huge. The great thing is when you go near the region spawn locations around the shrines, where people expanding around them and building cities organically. Some of them, they're beautiful. I mean, amazing, beautiful architecture. People were using simple components in building components like a horizontal pole or curved pole, and they combining many of those to create new kind of element visually, artistically, very very interesting. The other thing that's nice, that I think they nailed it, is the fact that your house is open to some extent to be used by other players. So usually when I run out, and this kind of so for example, I'm running to somewhere doing some stuff. Along the way, I gathered some resources, and in order to optimize, I decided not to keep the resources inside of me, but just stop by someone's house, use his benches to craft whatever product I can craft or ingredients I can craft out of those resources. So this is amazing. It makes you reach out for other people creation and experience their houses. There were some very confusing houses. To be honest, right now, if it's a big thing, I don't get in because I'm like 15 minutes. I'm like in a gallery. I'm like constantly amazed by the beauty they created there, and in the same time annoyed that I cannot find where the hell he put the bench that I need in his huge castle. So now I'm looking for a nice, neaty, medium-sized house, because most of the people there, they separate the rooms, create different rooms, and they have kitchen. And if you need some of the kitchen benches to do something, to craft a little bit out of the bodies of the animals and other stuff you brought along the way that's food related, you can find the kitchen. You go in the kitchen, everything is there. You can do your stuff. Or there is a blacksmith room where you can recognize it by seeing the huge forge, and then inside there is all the other benches needed. So very handful, and that, I would say, that's something that I think they nailed it. If you have a sandbox and people can build stuff, you need to have an element that endorse you, or how can I say that, you need to make use of their creation so that you can explore it and engage with it. And that was nice. I don't know if that was intentional or not intentional, but that's the beauty. So as a sandbox, look and feel, creative wise, experience other people creations, exploring, perfect game. So now I have a huge, and I would say technical wise, performance wise, though my PC is very powerful, so because of the VR projects and the development I have a very, let's say, VR-ish development machine. Maybe most of the resources are not even used up, and that's where my amazement with this game ends. I would say if it's about having fun with friends, building stuff, exploring, engaging with the sandbox environment, do it. But let's talk about what does it, how, so what is the beyond that in this game? What kind of replayability there is? What kind of, it's a sandbox. I mean, you need to create your own quests. You need to create your own adventures. Similar to Valheim, they put the food system, 3 different foods, which are buffing you in like 3 different ways. In our VR game, that we're trying to build one sci-fi, because it's a boutique game, it won't be something wow and amazing AAA, but it will be a decent game trying to recreate Icarus, a game I'll do a review in future. And in there we're gonna use a similar system, but the other way around. The way I like it is you're handicapped by the hunger and thirst, and you have 3 food drinks that actually you have multiple handicaps, and you use those food and drinks to remove 3 of them. And this is the RPG element, I would say. So depending on your task, at least you have the mini game to strategize, though it's simple, and for adults like me it's a trivial task. For, I don't know, for teenagers it's a maybe interesting exploration topic to strategize around which 3 handicaps to remove for the given quest to be more successful, or for a given task that you want to accomplish to be more optimal. And the problem with this game is not with the food system. I just wanted to cover it, but how you progress. So they're doing something that there was this mobile game back in the days, web game, Albion Online, yeah. So they tried to do the I don't think if Albion actually was the first one introducing this, but right now it's the oldest one I have in my mind, because it's they have very aggressive marketing. The game is very minimalistic version of this game, and it's not that it's not interesting, but I don't know. They have aggressive marketing there, and I don't see any evolution over the time. But back to this game, they're using this principle where your skill set is based on the items you wear. So the idea is that, the problem was that in the old school games, the way I'm gonna give you option to explore the game and get and evolve for a longer time would be I'm gonna give you a few different ways to play the game called character or classes. And then I will leave you experience the game through one of the classes, and then if you wanna stay with the game longer, you have the options to try explore it with a different class. But this involves, and there was a problem. The problem is that usually the most interesting part is the end game, and once you go through the main game becomes tedious for you to play, and you wanna go with this other character right into the end game, which some games like Division try to make it right, and they did it to some extent. But yeah, that was the way you do it. And then there's this problem, and the way they solve this problem in some of those games, like this Albion game that I can recall as the oldest one I saw this being done, is by they pretty much said, okay, because this progression, the whole progression is all about your skill set. So the game gives you the ability to start exploring skills from lower level to higher level, and you have a reset mechanism, so you can explore different configuration, learn about different skills. So at the end of the progression, when you go to the end game, you can reset and then build the desired meta build, in your opinion, and that match your playstyle. And to be honest, so did so here in Albion they start doing it, and in this game they do it by gear. So right now you see different pieces. So this one gives me Breath of Spirit, which is a replenish some spirit. This one gives me Breath of Life, which replenish some health after battle, after I de-engage the battle. The Tabard gives you nothing but visuals, and some other elements gives you nothing here but visuals. Then you have the pants, the breeches, and then you have your footwear, and then those trinkets. I assume currently they're just cosmetic. I assume in future when we grow to the tiers, then there will be some perks around those, but I'm not sure. Maybe those perks would be like just power or something like that, because right now you can see, so how you use it, it's over here. So if I it's over here, so this is my, you see, my wearable skills, and each weapon has its own triplet. So if I pull out my spear, it has one triplet of skills. My mace has a different one, and there is a cooldown, so you cannot mess up with stacking different weapons and cheating the game this way, because you can stack like 4 or 5, depends on how good you are with the buttons. You can stack a lot of weapons and cast a lot of skills. So this is how they did it. And you see also animation. When I was talking, just one remark to the first part, which is about the visual and the sandbox experience. Animations are very nice. I like how they move around. See how he puts the mace on his shoulder, very nice. Similar he does with the longsword, very nice, very beautiful. And he's like, there is an idle posture, I think rotation is simple. Yeah, there is no blending when you turn. You see, he turns immediately. You know, there is no blending like in some PlayStation 4 games. They start doing that, where if I press back, the character is not rotating, so the visuals of character is not rotating, but you have animated posture that is doing the turn. So I'm gonna play the blend with this animation and not physically just turn my character. So this is the only thing I'm missing here that would add a little bit immersiveness, a little bit more blends in the animations, making it a little bit more like I think in Dark Souls were very nicely done. So yeah, but yeah, this is how the skills go. So and this is something I really I like it. So the moment they developed that approach, I said like, yes, that's it. That's what was missing, because now I can be someone. I can go back to my castle, hideout, stash, whatever the game represents it, the place where you have your stuff and you can change yourself, and then you can put a different set of gear, and then you have totally different playstyle, and then you have this problem that you need to organize a bunch of chests in order to keep track of what's where, and so on and so forth. So in this regard, the only thing I'm missing on top of the blending animation around the whole feature of clothes and weapon giving you your set of abilities is I wanted to have here built a stand which is like in Valheim, I guess, where you can put your pieces on the stand and your weapon, and there is some sort, like, this is PC flat screen, so there is many ways to do it. In VR is a little bit harder if you want to be immersive, but to make it so that I can visually recognize which set is for which playstyle, maybe some kind of different icons, or just a plain sign that I put on top, and I just put there like tank, DPS, something like that, or they can do, you can have it predefined, so because most people will use those as a base. So yeah, and that's the only thing I'm missing here to organize my different playstyles. So the other thing is, okay, I'm gonna talk about the so-called pay to win, which I do not agree with, partially. So there is no pay to win. There is pay to be lazy. But let's talk about that at the end when I discuss the biggest problem with this game. So what else do we have here? So there is a bunch of different benches that lets you do different stuff. And why is that? Because they have professions. So if you go here, there is a professional skill. You have like bows, so those are like the combat skills. But then after the combat skills, you have like what the hell? Yeah, crafting skills. So you start alchemy. So it's all the blacksmithing, butchering, carpentry, blah, 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 all the well-known stuff for all of the RPG games we have played so far. The problem is that so instead of them figuring out a repeatable, random enough, creating confusion, panic, or something like that, events that will affect the environment so that they will caught me off guard, And by those random events, they will make good enough ingredients for me to create my own journey, my own experience. I have that in Valheim. We play with a friend, and we were not prepared for the first time. We didn't spoil ourselves with YouTube videos, and we hop up on a sail, and we start going in, and then the sea had become very dangerous. Sail was taking damage, and we get scared and we go back. Then we took the boat. Then we start sailing and the winds come toward us, and we said, okay, it's very slow like that. Let's deviate a little bit, maybe do something on the island over there, and then we'll continue when the wind goes back in our direction. And that's example of a random environmental event that made it interesting enough for us to step on it and create our own journey. So it's the problem with most of the sandbox are they're lacking this variety of meaningful such random events that lets you step on them, like the children. You gave them few ideas. I've noticed that with my son when he was a little one. You gave them few ideas and they catch up on those and start creating a storytelling out of it. So it's the same thing. And they don't have that here that much. And they recognize that this would get boring after 15 minutes of cigar watching on my terrace the sunset. They decided to make it a little bit more interesting for me to grind. And here we are gonna move to explain the PvP and grinding and the whole pain around it, and how actually it's pain for the people that wanna play. Okay, so there is two things. Why would you wanna level up all these crafting skills? To make better gear. Why do you need better gear? So you either wanna go do dungeons, which are a few, and I haven't experienced one yet, but looking at how they approach the sandbox itself, I assume those are very scripted, predefined, boring dungeons that had no such random events that I mentioned about that will create panic and confusion while you do the thing, because that's for me, that's it. So what's interesting in life? What's interesting in life is it's not predefined. Because if it's predefined, so there is this notion that if you know everything that will happen to you, at some point you will wanna not know it to make it more interesting. So that's the essence in gaming for me, in simulating, because gaming is just simulating experiences. They could be real life. For example, I have a tendency to do a lot of medieval games because I like this kind of simple life where you go chop woods. I like it because I never experienced it. It most probably it was awful because you are all exhausted. You do all this stuff. You cannot feed your family, so it's not that nice, this kind of life. But if you have only the in the game, you have only the interesting stuff to do. Fighting dragons, and if you die, you reset, and etc. So you need to have this the randomness of the environment and the events, which will create for you every time interesting experiences, and you need to adapt to them. And I think during that adaptation to these random events and environmental changes, they generate emotion, and that's why you play. That's one of the reasons you play those kind of games. That's my opinion. So as a developer, I would say they fell short there, and maybe they'll recognize that and fix it in future. I don't know. It's a very nice platform. I don't know what their business model is, but if that was my game, I would have shaped it this way. And so you do those skills to make better stuff, better food, better potions, better armor, better weapons. They're tiered in different tiers. Of course, each tier expects you to go in different biome, gathering next tier raw materials, etc. Although sometimes they require part of the lower tier materials, so it's kind of not that strict, so you cannot jump through different tiers quickly. And that's the problem, because I've played almost 90 hours, and you can see so the max level I think was 40, or 44, 41, 40, something like that. Let's check that. So let's check that. So what is Pax Dei max skill level? 100? No way. I think cap was around 40. Yeah, cap stands at 40. I'm using Grok. I won't ever use OpenAI anymore. I'll tell you why. Because they decided to put advertising in their platform. They are going against all. Sam Altman is a scam guy. You can track his professional record, where he was, how he get rich, and I don't want to get into that. Grok is the thing for me, and of course Cursor. I'm using Cursor extensively for development. For those of you that are still not realizing, you should, as a developer, you should use AI model. You should. We start doing that in the banking sector, where all the companies said no, that's PI, that's blah blah, that's security, that's now everyone is like, go, we need to integrate AI as much as possible. So you need to do that. Maybe I'll do a separate video explaining to you why and how and what I think about engineers using AI. There is two different perspectives of engineers: senior engineers using QI, engineers using AI, because senior engineers using AI is all about having someone to delegate. Junior engineers using AI is having a peer that is doing stuff you can do better than you, and you both lack experience, and you both lack let's say architectural understandings. So it's different paths for both, kind of, for newcomers in the software engineers and for the old dogs like us. So let's move back to this. I'll try to do a video on that, because that's an interesting topic on my side. We discuss that regularly at work. So the thing is, I've managed to, so mining, I done like half of the progression. So that's almost 100 hours. I did like half of the mining. And you know what's the most common thing I do? We chill on adventures with Peter, go kill some NPCs, dive into the PvP zone, kill some NPCs for gold, etc., etc. But the rest of the time, I'm mining. That's like 70% of the game is mining. And I'm, after 100 hours of mining-ish, I'm half of the way. The problem and mining at woodcutting are the highest. Why? Because you do only one action. You do the action, you take the resources, and there you have a problem, because to progress in the rest of the crafting, you need to use multiple of those resources. So you always have more iteration on the gathering than on the crafting. So crafting is hugely behind gathering. That's a problem. I would fix that. There's many ways to fix it. Um, if the devs are interested, they could reach out to us and we can give them a hint because we really like this sandbox. But yeah, so blacksmithing, as you see, behind. Carpentry behind. Although this is easy because it most of the time you can level it up using only raw wood. Leatherwork, very behind. I mean, cooking, you know, and yeah. And now this takes forever. So why this is there? This is there for you not to get bored. To be honest, I don't get bored because this is what I need. I need a brainless meditation activity to do, and the game helps me focus. So, a quick remark here for those that will understand what I'm talking about. So, meditation is all about figuring out, putting a space between your body, mind, and yourself as being. So you can kind of shake off your whatever your body feels, whatever your mind is bubbling, you shake off of it. So this game and this brainless mining and woodcutting is I found a way to do it through that. I also do meditation on the side, but I find it helping me chill. But if I want it to be a little bit more interesting, it's not. First of all, the maps are huge. I mean, they were huge in Valheim too, but the biomes there were mixed up. So there is two different concepts. Let's say there's two types of scaling. I'll try to explain it like that. So we can scale. Let's go for a journey somewhere to see some beautiful stuff. Meanwhile, so one type of scale is the diversity scale, which is how many different biomes. By biomes, I mean flora and fauna different. Yeah, there is different flora and fauna in difficulty and in what kind of resources there is. And I would say, okay, let's kill let me show you, and now you can skin them. And yeah, different. So let's gather those because we need those for Peter. He will level up his attuned axe, bronze axe. And this is one of type of the scale. So the different biomes, and then you have how many. So what's your map size? Because once you have the different biomes, you have two ways to go. One is to split the whole map, to split it on sectors, which make it huge, and each biome will be like, let me show the map. Each biome will be like very difficult to get out of and enter the new one. Here they did it like, I would say they did it like Valheim. They mixed it up, which is the better one. So let's say one scale is you have this green, this yellow, and this brownish kind of environment. This is this scale here, and then you can scale this up throughout the whole map, which is repeating the same few regions all over. So now you when you travel, you go through one, through the other, etc. So it gives you a little bit of variability on the how you experience the environment. So there is a lot of those let's say efficient people building like that. My house is somewhere in the middle that are just building it for crafting and leveling up purposes to max out the space used provided. I will explain why this is important. But then you can you can come across this one. So let's say I want a skin now. I want to just so I can go here, this dude's house. He has a fireplace outside. I can just do that. This wasn't a good idea because this will produce more than it takes, you know. But anyway, because now we have like three squares, three different ingredients given from the body. For other stuff, it's the other way around. For example, you have a lot of flax and you produce a little bit of cloth, and so that that's about the environment. I don't have problem with it. It's just too big. I mean, it's too big, and why? So, for example, I can, if I had time, I could grab all of those and go make it there in his house. See if he has like how it's called, the spinning wheel. See, beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. And he even make it like like a tavern. Amazing. This made by a player, and this is how he utilized his, and he made it here because he sells stuff here. You see, very interesting. We'll see, but we'll see how this come to play and what this cost you. I would say it's too big, and what's happening is I don't know if it's too big. I have a problem with people trying to do one big map with a lot of players and then facing a lot of network and let's say server related issues. There is no problem with me playing with less people in the home map and then exploring a random server maps, where at random people from different home maps gather. Some guys done that in the past. So because here's what happens. Yeah, I can have this huge walk through the map from here right down to the PvP portal. I can do that, but most of the time I don't. Why? Because the scaling. So coming from here to here was interesting. First time we had to discover this portal, this shrine to teleport to. You can teleport, but doing that like from here to down, it is the same, and then it's the same. Kind of here you have zones. You have here a little bit more safe zones, and then zones with a little bit higher level enemies. But at the end of the day, I would never go randomly through the whole map. I will click here to teleport here and then run through here, and this would be my adventure here and then in the PvP map. Clicking here will load the screen for me. It's the same as having me being on this map here together with, I don't know, 50 more people, and then we just all click here and we go on a random location together with our party, which is, let's say, this map here. I don't know, but that's in general. So another thing that I find problematic with the game is that, let me explain to you the core currency in the game. This incentive, each game has it, to make you return and keep you engaged. This one is doing it very trivial. You need to have a up cost to keep your plot. You need each month to provide one token or provide grace. So this thing grace, you can pay your ownership on a monthly basis. It's only 400, so it's very cheap. You can easily gather enough of those during the month with minimum play. Don't worry about that. So you don't need to actually pay to play. And how you do it, you purchase here with money donation, and you get this grace from the gods. So, and that's on a daily basis. So once you need, so there is one mechanism that makes you go in at least once a month to make sure your base stays, and for them to make sure you don't players that quit on the game does not take space. And the other thing is you're enforced, or I would say you're, what's the word? There's incentive for you to come and on a daily basis and purchase every time this resets grace, because that's the easiest way to grab it. Actually, I don't know if there is another way to get grace. Grace also help you giving bonus to resource gathering and experience from crafting. So in a way you use it for the plot, in a way you want to have it stacked because it helps you progress, at least in the beginning. So and that's how it works. And you can play with a single plot. You don't need to buy any of those subscriptions, because you can also upkeep your base by using token, which is overly expensive, having in mind that you already pay for this game. And now to have the minimum to experience the game, which is my own little house, I need to pay more money, or I need to use grace. Because I can use grace, I would say they didn't fuck it up big time, though this is fucked up. I mean, but okay, so I get it. So if you don't have time for a month, maybe you come here, give them $10, and they will keep your, you know, your progression in their game, which is again fucked up. But it's MMO Sandbox, so let's say there is some I don't know, subscription not needed. Maybe if you do guilds, big stuff, but still they're not needed. I mean, those are emotional purchases for me. Those here, emotional purchases, or you being lost, or you just have a lot of money. This is kind of a donation for people that money make no sense for them. Like they have a huge amount of money coming in each month from different sources, so they don't mind doing that. And if they don't mind it, and then they want to buy a 8 slot and build a huge castle, I don't know why you would do that, but yeah, why not? So I would say this is this is a side thing. This is a donation for me. This thing I don't agree with. I think the devs need to fix it. Maybe they can give you 1 token a month, so you can keep up your base, your single plot, and they can sell the rest maybe if you have multiple plots and you do some more fancy stuff. But a single plot per month should be inexpensive for you if you buy the game. If that was free to play game, is it? Okay, I just want to check something. Let's see. Did I pay for this game? I paid for this game. I know I paid because I bought it from my friend too. Yeah, and it's kind of expensive for those kind of games, but yeah. So yeah, this needs to be fixed. But why this game is not pay to win? So first of all, I don't know if there is a way for you to pay. So maybe you're getting a little bit, as I say, by grace, you're getting a little bit boost on the experience you get from crafting. So, but the boost is so minimal that even with those subscription that gives you grace, somehow, what was it? So yeah, you get bonus, but it's one time, and it's 400. You can make 400 in, I don't know, in 30 minutes with your friend killing NPCs. If you go in the PvP, you can do it in, I don't know, 5 minutes. So that's ridiculous. That's not pay to win. Pay to win would be if I could somehow pay my way to mastering all the skills, and then I can develop an entire gear for me, and I go in the PvP and I beat the shit out of everyone. That's pay to win, and that's impossible as far as I know in this game. If you disagree with me and you know something I don't know, put it in the comments. I'm curious to know if there is a way for me to jump over those skills, because it's really annoying. But in the same time, it's kind of rewarding when you just want to chill game. You just want to chill time with a game. So. The end game is pretty much divided into doing these dungeons, which are, where were they? Wait, dungeons. They were here. Was those the dungeons? Yeah, those were the dungeons. So, or going into the PvP zone, where pretty much if you die, you drop your stuff and you can be robbed most of the time. There is NPCs that are giving a good gold, and this, I think this is good. They did it. So there is also spawns like that with enemies that are all together gathered on a kind of a. There is building structures, you can recognize where the enemy NPCs are. But there is also those that are high value. They give a lot of gold, more than the rest, and they're easier to kill, and they're spread in the wildness, in the forest. So you need to kind of scatter around the forest, and that and forces people. I guess this helps you encounter other people, like solos and duos and trios in the wood, away from the build guilds that are fighting for regions. And the PvP mechanics needs a separate video to review and understand how it works. But in general, know that there is PvP. It's interesting. It's thrilling. So when you want a little bit of this extraction shooter gear fear experience, you can do it there. Although I would say at some point you have, so in order to progress the skills, you have so much gear, especially the lower tier, that you can go in as much as you want, and it doesn't matter if you get killed and robbed. It just wastes a little bit of your time to go back and gather more gear. But you can also get gear, and there is a safe place inside the PvP zones, like those shrines, and you have storage there. So you can grab a bunch of mid-tier gear that you have a lot crafted because you're leveling up, and just rush through the PvP zone to that first region. I don't know. We can travel there, but not now. And yeah, you can go there and just put your stuff there, and it will be faster for you to re-equip yourself. So it's not that bad. I mean, you can survive it. What happened? Oh, did not see you. Yeah, I need to boost my health, because this one, it will be hard to kill. Maybe. Let's try. Okay. And let me then. So yeah, it helps, and that's it. So why it's not pay to win? Because to be honest, on top of being Sandbox, it's a social game. In order to be good and to win the PvP, you need to group with people. You need other people. there is no paying your way through that. I mean, you can try, but I don't know what having a lot of plots won't help you. Being able to preserve your plots, your buildings without with paying money for tokens won't help you. So I really don't know. To me, this game, there in such a sandbox PvP setup, you cannot pay to win. You need to gather with other people. So if you're a more social person, you have a lot of friends, gamers, and they like such games, you're a lucky one. We're trying to build a small guild for all dads like us that want to play Friday night with us, because for us to have a little bit more chance, but we couldn't find anyone from Bulgaria at least so far willing to try it. But yeah, that's all I could say on all the videos I saw that it's pay to win, blah blah blah. This is the most. So if you go and the reason for it to be like mixed with a mixed rating is that a lot of people they think and what they do more. So this is something I really hate these days. People don't have a lot of time. People are used to very short videos, not a long video like that. And what they do is they just open something, they watch something, they get attracted to catchy title of some creator, and then that shapes their opinion. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people there they just complain about this being paid to win because someone said so. In internet, they never do a critical thinking around it and try to really understand what's needed to be good in this game. I mean, the competitive part, which is the PvP. So I don't know, not pay to win. I mean, if you disagree, give me a good reason. I'll think about it. But for me, it's not pay to win. Oh no, not fighting three of those. So yeah, that's all on my depth review on this game. I If that was my game, I would still develop it. It's a great first step. It's a great sandbox base, and I think they figured out the PvP correctly. But yeah, for us to discuss the PvP, we need another video. So thank you for watching, and I'll try to do some more of those on VR games too, giving my opinion as a developer. Bye bye, everyone.